What is going on? I'm ZMOT. The update keeps giving new things every day. Now, some of them are good, some of them are not, but do know if there's something that's not good, I am going to be fighting for you guys. So do consider throwing code ZMOT in that shop. I have already passed along a bunch of bugs that you guys point along. And how it works, you guys send me bugs, I test them, and then if I agree, I send them along, or if I don't agree, I ask you guys for more questions. Now, Dr. T was always a huge source of powder because you got guaranteed crystals. Yes, the fragments and shards were a nice little bonus, but 2 crystals every day for Dr. T was great. So for a while there, before Imitation Game came along, you would get 4 crystals every 6 days. And then they added Imitation Game and it went down to 4 crystals every 7 days. That's not super duper important, but it did show that the devs were starting to take away some of the goodies. So right about now, we are going to talk about what I think is a bug, what I hope is a bug. So for those of you, not on you, Mr. Krabby Crab, but up in here on Dr. T's tropical island, and I assume on Dr. T's Volcano Island as well. You notice that we start at threat level 16 because I'm a decent headquarters level and it goes based on your armory or headquarters. I don't remember, but if you're interested, you can go up there in the news and click on there and it'll tell you all about it. I have already forgotten because it doesn't really matter. The important part is there's now a leaderboard and you can get to like threat 500. And right about now, the leaderboard is based on 0 skill. I don't know when that's going to start to be based on skill. Right about now, it's just based on who finishes the event first. So it's kind of like the Mystic Monument a little bit in that it's just based on time zone and or wanting to be on top of the leaderboard so you wake up. I don't know if that's ever going to change, to be completely honest. I don't know if there's ever going to be a stage where people are actually going to fail Dr. T. I would kind of hope there will be, but I don't know if that's realistic or not. But the important part here is that as we send our troops up, number one, the delay has been changed. It used to be that your troops, if you dropped them underneath smoke, you would keep the delay. And now there's this weirdness where troops are walking in weird spots. And if your landing craft is popped out in some way, it's slightly different. And we're going to throw a med kit. And I love the automatic fast forward feature. That saves me seconds a day. And I got to say, those seconds are greatly appreciated. I know a couple of you said with your resource boat, you don't like the fact that you have to claim all of them. I can get behind that. That saved us a second a day claiming the 4 different boats, and I could get why you wouldn't want that. But the automatic fast forward at the end of battles, that is my favorite thing. So with Dr. T, we're on threat level 17. And so I think what's happening is that, and this is just a thought, by the way, there's no scientific backing on this. Supercell hasn't agreed to this. This is just what I am telling the devs. If you guys have different ideas of what it could be, please send them along, because this is one of those problems that I think is very much a bug, or maybe it's just they haven't thought through how much everyone relied, or like the only reason why a lot of max level players do Dr. T is for those crystals. And so, by the way, critters are also acting a little bit wonky, as you can see here, that as critters land, it used to be that they would bounce and defenses wouldn't see them until after they bounced. So you have to throw critters a little bit differently right now. So do keep that in mind. But you'll see that, what did we just get for those attacks? Let's look at our attack log here. We got 7 fragments, and let's just bring this up here. You used to get, where are we at? Stage 1, you used to get 1 fragment, so definitely more fragments there. And if we look at stage 2, we got 5 whole fragments, and you used to only get 1. So definitely getting more fragments, but stage 7, like there is no more stage 7. We're on attack 3, which is actually stage 18. A little bit awkward. So I think that maybe if you're a low-level headquarters and you get threat level 6 and 7, you might get the guaranteed crystal. And you know what? I'm actually going to test that. I can test that on the dev build, I think. And those are one more thing that I like to do is when you guys give me bug details, one thing that I can do that you guys can't do, or not many of you can do, is I can go test them on the dev build, which also helps shortcut things. Because most times when reporting bugs to the dev team or to Nuno, they need or require videos so that they can reproduce it, because there's just so many bugs that come in that for them to reproduce them and test them all themselves doesn't really happen. And notice the fact that those critters did land in smoke, but they were visible as they were flying, which is a little bit wild. We're going to throw some smokes and some medkits and then just all of the medkits, hoping that we don't lose too many troops. I did a video recently on Smokey critters. That is the strategy I just employed. I will put a card to it because it's super handy. But it's less handy now because it seems like landing crafts are seen by defenses and critters are seen while they're in the air. Like there is just... So if we drop this right here, for example... Watch what happens to the defenses. Oh, like those critters were fully in smoke. They never were out of smoke. But as soon as defenses turn, you've lost the delay. And if you don't know what the delay is, it is a massive part of higher level attacks. And so the fact that we have lost it simply by throwing critters or dropping troops is a major step backwards, I think. And some of you might not agree, but some of you might not understand how it works as well. So trying to balance all of the details between all of the people. And oftentimes on Discord or on YouTube, I end up getting these comments that are kind of based on half knowledge. And there's certain things where people just don't explain things super well. So there's a weird balance here. So if I come back to you with questions and you're like, Zed, I obviously know what I'm doing, please know that for every one person that knows what they're doing, there are like 8 that don't. So the people who are like, I got people saying that like someone just randomly says bullet, there's a bug with bullet, and then they don't give any more details. So please know that I'm not trying to be a jerk or trying to be short with you. I just run out of bandwidth at times. So we have gotten that next clue, which is hugely important as far as opening Ruddero. And you can see that I have not, this is my first clue on this account. I don't play all of my accounts enough to get the clues. So I'm very curious to see, by the way, the clues for Ruddero go based on when you got your first clue. So if you get the first clue at noon and then the next day you don't log in till 5 p.m., don't worry, it'll be 19 hours. It's actually really efficient in that way. And now we are on to stage 5, which again doesn't really matter all that much. It's definitely harder. And if you start to notice, there's going to be some new buildings that we haven't seen in a hot minute. So things like the MMG 3000, things like the super mortars. By the way, I want a choice node in warships with the super mortar, the MMG 3000, and the scary mortar. Something along those lines. There are so many good buildings in Boom Beach, and I feel like just not enough of them have been used in warships. There's so much more good stuff that can be done in warships, and I really do hope that this opens up. And obviously that there's not going to be things like the birthday cakes in warships, because those actually would help your opponents, which they don't really need to or want to bring in. But for things like the scary mortars or whatever, it would be so good to bring those things in for an interesting little wrinkle. As we're losing a couple Zukas at a time, my attack skills on Dr. T, I used to beat these I used to put tutorials out for these all the time on headquarters level 18 and beat them all. And look at this, we are rank 92,000. 92,000 players have beat threat level 20. That is great news. That doesn't include all the lower headquarters levels or the lower armory levels. Like, obviously, I'm a little bit behind. This is only an XP level 70, but that for me to see those numbers. Every time I see a leaderboard with numbers like that, it really, really excites me, because all those people that are talking about Boom Beach is dead. Well, guess what? 90,000 people just played the main base. And that has got to be super, super exciting for the devs. I know that the main base was left for dead a long, long, long time ago, and it wasn't really their fault. There were previous devs or decisions by Supercell or whatever it might have been. But the bottom line is now things are looking happy and healthy, and that is fantastic, fantastic news. So Supercell, I know there are some new bugs with this update. There are definitely things that need to be addressed. And players, do remember that this is all new stuff. They've put changes in, and I would way rather have them put changes in and bring in a couple bugs that last. Oh, look at that. We got a crystal. That did not help my prognosis at all. We just did stage 6 and got a crystal. That is complete and utter luck. Unless there's been a maintenance break or they fixed something, please tell me this video is going to be just absolutely wrong. I would love to be wrong on this. Notice the second bottom line there. Stage 6, 1 guaranteed crystal with 140,000 wood. You know what? Why don't we move this out of the way so we can see both? So the wood is wrong. There's not enough wood. The stone is wrong. Not enough stone. Iron is wrong. Not enough iron. Lots of frags, but just everything else is just brutal. Resources are all on the low side. So I'm really hoping that, like, Dr. T got harder and the resources got cheaper. So I'm really, really, really thinking that's a bug, and I will be harassing the devs and Nuno politely, but I really hope I get a crystal for stage 7, because that's one fewer thing to grumble about. And although I sound like I like to grumble, I really, really don't, I promise. So we are going to throw a barrage on that flamethrower just to try to clear up some space. And there is that super mortar we were talking about. By the way, because our barrage captain failed, we're going to back out of this puppy. We'll come back in, hoping that our barrage captain gets a little bit better on the random number generator. And look at that super mortar's range. Like, that is just bonkers. Imagine that on warships. It would cover the entire deck. They do shoot slowly, though, so you can get a little bit of a benefit there. Come on, barrage. See, I told you. And that is why when you watch your replays, sometimes it'll look like you lost the battle, but you actually won the battle. And it's those things where it doesn't store. It just stores that barrage happened. It didn't store how precise that was, because if I had to store all 90,000 stages of Dr. T that have been done, or I guess 90,000 times 7, it would not go super duper well. So we're going to get all of our troops walking, doing a decent job so far. And if you're not sure about where to throw the smoke, just get it nice and fat, and then everything will work out in your benefit. It's going to be so close on that. Look at those Zookas on that corner of that machine gun. And now we definitely need to throw some critters right about there. 1, 2, and 3, and then some med kits. Probably should have thrown a couple more critters, but come on, give me a crystal. No, you see, there's the problem right there. I'm kind of like, part of me is glad it didn't give a crystal, because it would have been a random crystal. It would have been hard to explain. But you'll notice here, we did Dr. T, and did we move up on the leaderboard? And if you're like, well, I want to see where I am on the leader. You just got to go over here into this button right here. That one with the check mark, and then click on Dr. T, and you can see we are sitting at 66,000. Like, I love that fact. I love the fact that you can see where you're at, and the players up the top are just those who have started at the exact second Dr. T loaded. And so I'm not saying there's not some skill in doing it quickly, probably doing it on 3 times mode and or force closing, but getting to the top of that leaderboard is not based on gameplay skill yet, and I hope it gets to the point where it is, because that will be super duper interesting to see who can get that top spot in 3 months. I'm not sure exactly how long that's going to take, but There are some bugs out there. Do know, please play the anniversary crab. One thing that I wasn't clear about before is that these are the super soldier vats. I don't know if you remember the Dr. T thirst energy drink thing, but when you get a Grenadier out of one of those surprise cakes, I have been waiting for that for years. So do attack Dr. T, get into some stages, and I think guaranteed in the first 20 stages, you get one of those beautiful, beautiful super Grenadiers, and the super Grenadiers make everything worthwhile. So, just the sheer explosions that come out of them and just the ridiculousness of it all is fantastic. So even if you don't like the changes or there's some bugs or whatever it might be, they've brought some very, very good things into the Mega Crab, hopefully into warships, and overall, Captain Ruddero will be here soon. There's a lot of hype around the game right now, as you can tell by the fact that I'm making a weekend video, so do consider code ZMOT in all Supercell sources. I know you guys do a fantastic job about it, but it expires every 7 days, so I have to annoy you. Also, while you're there, make gosh darn sure that you get those boom boxes if you are so inclined, because they are about to be gone. I think there's like 8 days left. You can get them. Not entirely sure on that date, but if you see confetti in the air and some dudes wearing party hats, do go get those things. And apparently people are seeing villagers over here walking on water because they're now going down the stairs down onto the hero hut, apparently, which I never noticed the hero hut had a gun before now. Did it always have that? Anyways, let me know what you think about this update, how you're feeling about Dr. T, where you're going on Mega Crab, how amazing those Super Grenadiers are, and what you think about my idea for throwing the MMG 3000 and the Super Mortar on warships. I shall talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. I'm ZMOT.